Hey guys, John with Jrsp, Johnson Rally Self Protection. I got some inquiries about the Jrsp handler, like where can this be acquired or purchased. As of right now, this is unavailable, and we don't know what we're really doing with them right now. We made about 100. We gave away about 15 to 20, and then the rest people bought, and we thank you for definitely supporting us in that endeavor. And you by purchasing these things and like uh, this is all of my years of owning different type of fist load type devices right here and training with them and stuff like that. This is basically my truth right here, like where as this is what Kelly Warden came up with, this is what Bob Koga came up with right here. These things were their truth, this is what James Keating came up with right here. Like this was all their experience right here. So those guys trained for years, and uh then they're like those devices is an accumulation of their training right there, and that is the same with the JRP handler with me right here. This is what you know from owning so many different fist loads and palm sticks, and like from different materials and from different companies and stuff like that, and training with them and stuff like that. This is my truth right here. This is what I came up with, because of basically how I think, and the fact that if you look at my device, there's no sharp um, points or anything. There's nothing sharp on this. The edge down here, it has a chamfered, edge. So there's nothing right here that's gonna like, um, basically cause abrasion and stuff. Abrasion can lead to laceration, when you're striking and stuff. Laceration can lead to a charge and a lawsuit. So, when I created this, and I was like, it's got to be less lethal. I looked at other devices that I owned and was like, I went off that, and I was like, well, my device can't be like those devices, because my device needs to be fully, I need to be able to carry this anywhere, because it was basically inspired by the fact that I was an Amazon delivery driver, and they didn't want you carrying anything that was like a weapon or anything, and I used this I just told them, oh, it's a door knocker, and I would use it in such as that. And so then I also used it in situations of like when I was doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff like that, even though a lot of that was contactless, because back when I was an Amazon driver and I did DoorDash and Uber Eats and Grubhub and stuff like that, that was like in 2022, and that was like in COVID, okay? So a lot of stuff was contactless, but you still had to knock on the door in some cases if that instructions told you to. Um, and sometimes when you're knocking on the door with your bare hand, people didn't hear you knocking for some reason. But if you knock on the door with this thing right here, and we gave it that chamfered edge so it would cause no damage to the door, but also so it would also not cause laceration, or that could lead to, lawsuit and stuff like that. But it just doubled as really you can knock fairly hard and cause no damage to the door unless you're really beating on the door. And it's like, but this really I gave this to see, it ended up really working out, because um I started working for a garbage company, and I carried them religiously when I worked on the garbage company, because there's people out there like drivers and stuff who thought they were big and hard and stuff like that, and I just let them know, hey, look, it's like I'm always carrying something, and if you want a piece of me, a piece of this is what you're going to get as well. And so I never had no issues, because people, once you establish that you're carrying something, that it's like they don't want nothing, but worked on a garbage truck for 19 months. Then, from there, went to Domino's, back to a delivery type position where you had to knock on the doors. We're kind of out of COVID now, and excuse me, kind of I don't know, I'm kind of coming down with Like I'm congested. So, but anyhow, and Domino's was way different from Amazon and DoorDash and all that stuff. Like the system really sucked, but it was like you had to go knock on the doors. Like the majority of your orders, like were knock on the door and somebody's going to come answer the door and you give them the pizza. It's not like every once in a while you would get a leave at the door or something like that and notify me. But like for the most part, it was knock on the door, and this came in real big handy because I worked at Domino's for 10 months and I was always using this because you would knock on the door like yeah, you would. It's like I ended up using this like almost 100% of the time, and the only time I wouldn't use it is if I had left it in the car or something. It's like, which that was rare because it's always in my pocket ready to go. It's like I never really try to walk to a door without something on me because I mean you're in sketchy areas and stuff like that. It's like I knock on the door, and then if I had to, like, somebody wanted to throw down, it's like I'm gonna knock on their face. You know what I mean? But um, like I ended up having that um, and at Domino's using it religiously, and it worked great. And I ended up giving some about. Uh, this was part of the, when I said we gave away about 15, I gave about 5 to people at Domino's, like other drivers, my boss, like both of my bosses that I work with the majority of the time, and I gave 2 to 2 other drivers, and I ended up giving 1 to a girl who just like she wasn't a driver. She just had said she for some reason she said that I said I was going to give her one. So like I ended up just giving her one of the ones that I always carried 2. So I ended up just giving her one of the ones that I had in my pocket that day. Like, and she wasn't a driver, like, but she carried it. So always had 2. Like, but anyhow, yeah, that's like really kind of like what inspired this. And I mean, it's such a great device. It's still, I think it's the best thing because you always got to say that your device is the best because if you're not 100% behind your device, then how are you going to like really push it to other people? But I say it's the best because it's so effective. You can do movements like this right here, hooky movements. And then you can do hammer fist movements. And then it also makes a great actual like fist load where you can like have it in your hand and like not worry about breaking your fist when you're punching somebody because you got that nice loaded fist. And how it's designed here, it really puts your first 2 knuckles in that optimum position because of how it flares up here, so you turn it in where it lines up with these knuckles right here. You want these grooves to line up with those knuckles right there. And then it's locked in, basically. And then you strike like that. And I say I don't like punching. We're currently going over the 4 palm thrust right now. I don't like punching. But if you have something in your fist, you have a loaded fist, it makes it more practical. But like I say, I want this to kind of be something that we've sent that 100 out there into the world, and other than that, like when we get more or whatever, I'll let you know. We sell them through our Etsy, but uh, at the same time, it's like there's other great devices out there. Okay, like the Coastal Coke SC2, which is one of the greatest devices of all time, and also the Kelly Warden Travel Wrench, which is another one of the greatest devices of all time. And you can acquire these right now while you're waiting for these to come back online or however, because I don't know what we're gonna do. I'm saying this may be something that you could only get like when you come to a Jrsp class or something that you do through us, like either coming in person or doing something online through us. I think that this may be something like that because um, I don't really want it to become something that just is just another thing that just like fades into obscurity. Kind of like these things right here, they're kind of fade into obscurity. You don't really hear about them unless I'm talking about them. And I continue to talk about them because I don't want them to be faded into obscurity because they're great devices. And that's why I'm really trying to push these over this, because um, I've carried these for years and they did me well. And I know that, I know this right here, since it's to the point, like it's got one major con, which is how it looks. People kind of sometimes confuse it with some type of sexual device or whatever. But other than that, the major pros outweigh the major cons. And I know when I have this right here, I carried this just yesterday. I know when I have this, I'm never gonna overhype or overestimate my own abilities. But I know when I have this, I have all the confidence in the world that, like, if something pops off, I get into a situation, like I'm gonna have a good chance of coming out on top of that situation because I've trained with this for years, and like, eh, other than Bob Koga, who's now dead, and I don't know if anybody else has like picked up his legacy or anything. I've tried to research it and stuff, and there really doesn't seem to be anything going on. It's like I have my own way of doing this, and Bob Koga, he was the master, but like I say, unfortunately, rest in peace, he's gone. It's like I may be this thing's master with everything that like I've trained and how I use it. Like, but that's a big statement. I don't want to offend any of Bob Koga's like people who train with him and stuff like that. But I just use this in my own way. But I'm not the master of this. I'll tell you that much right now. Like this requires a little bit more know-how. Like you could give this to somebody who doesn't know anything and like tell them to go defend themselves right now, like their attack is on, and they may be able to do something with this. With this, you could give this to them and do something. It's like they probably wouldn't know what to do with it, because it just is so inconspicuous, and like it requires a little bit more know-how, like I say. But in Kelly Warren's defense, that's probably the exact same with my Jrsp handler, and that's kind of where the Koga kind of wins out and stands at the top of the mountain. But with this right here, I made this also to be completely inconspicuous. I have taken this into courthouses and put it into the freaking box that you have to go into, like, and it's gone. It's passed. I've taken it into hospitals where they um, you have to go through the metal detector and put your stuff again into the box and whatever, or take it into airports. It's passed because it just doesn't look like anything. And then I tell them, they're like, "Oh, what is it?" And I tell them, "Oh, it's just a door knocker because I was, in that job, or it's just something that I use to stretch my hand, or whatever." And it always just flies. So it's not something that's widely known. That's been out for several years on the market. It's like a ghost device. So that's what's great about these. We will try, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on with these and in the future. But until then, Kelly Warden Travel Wrench, Cold So Coke SC2. You can get this at Kelly Warden's website, and you can get this at the Cold Steel website and on Amazon for like, you get these for like around $15 or whatever, but there's gonna be tax, but and shipping, so don't like quote me on that. But they're relatively inexpensive, so definitely check these out and stay tuned for what we're gonna do with the RSP handler. But yeah, definitely love this thing. I definitely carry this all the time. It's like the accumulation of all my fist load knowledge. So thank you for definitely being interested in it, to people who are making inquiries, and thank you to everybody who actually purchased one. You guys take it easy.